BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
UN expert urged to investigate Lebanon over alleged torture of Egyptian-Turkish poet. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture is facing renewed calls to investigate Lebanon's complicity in the treatment of Egyptian-Turkish poet and activist Abdulrahman al-Qaradawi. Al-Qaradawi, a vocal dissident, has been imprisoned in the United Arab Emirates for over 10 months following a social media post. Legal representatives for al-Qaradawi formally submitted a complaint to the UN Rapporteur on Thursday, urging an examination of his case. The activist's ordeal began in December 2024 when Lebanese authorities arrested him upon his return from Syria. His visit to Syria coincided with celebrations of the fall of former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. During his time there, al-Qaradawi shared a social media video criticizing the governments of the UAE, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, expressing a hope that they would meet a similar fate to the Assad regime. Al-Qaradawi hails from a family deeply involved in political activism. His late father, Yusuf Qaradawi, was a prominent Islamist scholar affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood, who lived in exile for much of his life. The Egyptian-Turkish activist himself was a notable supporter of the pro-democracy protests in Egypt and had previously been sentenced in absentia in Egypt on charges of criticizing the judiciary. It was the UAE, however, that successfully lobbied Lebanon to arrest al-Qaradawi following his Syrian video. The charges levied were fake news and disturbing public security. The UAE facilitated this through an arrest warrant circulated via the Arab Interior Ministers' Council, an organization focused on inter-Arab security cooperation. Lebanese authorities, under the previous government led by then Prime Minister Najib Mikati, acceded to the UAE's request. Al-Qaradawi was subsequently extradited to the UAE on January 8, despite not being a citizen of either the UAE or Lebanon. This arrest, characterized by its swift and cross-border nature, has raised significant concerns. It demonstrates a troubling precedent where an individual can be taken to a country where they hold no citizenship, solely based on a social media post. This action has sent a chilling message regarding freedom of expression in the Middle East. The extradition proceeded despite strong protests from al-Qaradawi's legal team and human rights organizations, including Amnesty International, which warned of the potential for torture in the UAE. The Lebanese government at the time dismissed these concerns, stating that the UAE had provided assurances of respecting al-Qaradawi's human rights. However, his legal counsel asserts that these promises have proven hollow. Al-Qaradawi has reportedly been held in solitary confinement for over 10 months, without access to natural light and in an undisclosed location. His lawyers contend that these conditions constitute torture. To date, he has reportedly had no access to legal representation and has not been formally charged with any crime. Rodney Dixon, international legal counsel for al-Qaradawi, stated, Lebanon hastily approved the extradition on the basis that Abdulrahman's human rights would be upheld. That promise lies in tatters. Dixon emphasized that even though the previous Lebanese administration approved the extradition, the current government retains a moral and legal obligation to rectify the situation and secure al-Qaradawi's return. Governments may change but obligations do not. Lebanon was responsible for sending him there. Now it must do everything possible to bring him back, he added. A spokesperson for the Lebanese Prime Ministry indicated that the extradition did not occur under the current administration and declined further comment. The UAE has not responded to requests for comment but has previously stated to the New York Times that al-Qaradawi's detention adheres to human rights standards. A group of UN special rapporteurs has voiced grave concerns regarding the conditions of al-Qaradawi's detention, citing violations of his rights. In March, these UN experts stated, "Our worst fears that Mr. al-Qaradawi would face grave human rights violations if he was extradited to the UAE appear to have been justified." His family has also shared their anguish, having been permitted only 2 brief 10-minute visits since his detention. "It's been nearly a year since Abdulrahman was taken from us. The thought of him held alone in a cell, without sunlight, fresh air, or charges brought against him, is heartbreaking," his family shared. adding, "We will not stop until Abdulrahman is safe. All we want is to see him back home surrounded by his family." Reading us one of his poems again. Al-Qaradawi's widespread popularity in the Arab world predates his Syrian visit. He cultivated a substantial online following and participated in political discussions. Notably, he was a supporter of Hamas and publicly praised the October 7, 2023 attack, which resulted in approximately 1,200 deaths in Israel, dedicating a poem to the group's leader, Yahya Sinwar. Human rights advocates warn that al-Qaradawi's detention sets a perilous precedent for the region, potentially allowing any government displeased with an individual's views to have them forcibly relocated and imprisoned. Dixon cautioned, "If governments can hunt down their critics across borders and imprison them, then no one is safe. That's why the UN and the international community must act now to stamp out this behavior or risk setting a precedent that endangers us all."